I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Hunter, and this is the
Family Showdown!
Hey folks, so I'm flying alone tonight. Let me make sure the sound and video is good. Rebecca is out of town. She is at the National Junior Classical League Convention with her students. So they're competing and doing all sorts of fun stuff right now in Louisiana. I forget where they're at. Lafayette, maybe? I don't know. Somewhere in Louisiana. So we were going to do a top 10. We completely forgot she was going to be out of town, so that's going to get pushed back. But instead, tonight, I'm going to give you a GenCon preview. What I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to present the 20 games that I'm most interested in trying out and potentially buying. So I've put a lot of caveats on this list. One, the game is supposedly for sale, actually for sale at the convention. And two, it's a game I don't own. It's not necessarily a GenCon release. So there's some games that are going to be there that I haven't purchased yet that I'm considering purchasing. So a little bit about GenCon. This is my first time going. It's 1 week from tomorrow night. I'll be flying out to GenCon. It's actually August 4th through 7th. I have no idea about the numbers. I don't think they're back up to full capacity yet after the COVID. They shut down, I think, a year and then 2 years maybe, and then they did like half size. So I don't know if they're at full capacity or not, but there's going to be tens of thousands of people there. So I'm excited. Never been. I'm just kind of not really planned a lot of things. I've actually got only two things planned. There's a Dice Tower show that I want to go to and a Splendor tournament. So I figured that may be a good test of where I am for the World Series of Board Gaming that's coming up in September. That's one of the games I'm competing in. So if you have any questions, I actually have the chat. I'm going to be looking over this way because that's where my screen that I'm using, and the chat's down here so I can see if you guys have any questions. Ask questions as you go. If any of you are going to be at GenCon, come up and say hi. I don't have like a base of operations, so I'm going to be kind of wandering around. I may or may not work the Dice Tower booth some. I don't know. It depends if they need my help or not. There's another group that's there. I think it's a LARPing group that might need some help with stuff. We'll see if I do that. But otherwise, I'm going to be going to the vendor halls and demos and shows and whatever I can get my hands on during the convention. I'll be working Thursday morning, Friday morning, but otherwise I'll be at the convention full time. Rebecca's not going. That's a bit much for her. Board Game Geek Con's about the limit of what she wants in terms of masses of humanity around her. So, all right. So I'm going to switch over to the Board Game Geek website. So Board Game Geek has an awesome GenCon preview site where they actually have a listing of all the games that are going to be there, whether they're going to be demoed, whether they're going to be for sale, whether they're going to be mentioned, if there's going to be there in any way, even prototypes, that type of thing. They've got an entire list. And what I did is I filtered on games that you can actually buy at GenCon, and then I just scrolled through the list, and you can actually click the ones that you're interested in. I got 20 that I like that seemed the most interesting to me, and that's what I'm going to present to you guys. So let's switch over to the Board Game Geek website. I'll show you around a little bit before I jump in to what I'm doing. All right. So I like the people are saying they're going to watch even though there's no Rebecca. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I might not watch myself if Rebecca wasn't on. All right. So this is the Board Game Geek website. Let me get my mouse over here. If you haven't been here, this is the biggest database of board games anywhere. It is an awesome site. It's a great reference. It's a great source. We have a guild over there. The link for our guild's down in the comments. It's not super active, but I do put polls up for top 10s and things like that. So here's the GenCon preview. They got it highlighted, obviously, because it's a week away. You just click on this guy, and it'll take you over to the preview list. So what this is a listing of, an unfiltered listing of all the board games available. So there's 519 different games. Again, that's games that are going to be demoed for sale, and anyway, they're going to be there in some capacity. And if you look, it says here, like for example, this game here, this is availability demo, so it's not actually for sale. So you can go in here and filter, click on filters, and you can filter it any way you want to do it. For sale, price range, playtime, players. You can sort it any way you want to sort it. So I already went in and I already clicked the ones that I was looking forward to. Let me scroll back up. I was at the bottom. So here's kind of getting a sneak peek. So here's all the games that I am interested in looking at. So we're just going to go through these one at a time. I may take a break in the middle just to answer any questions or whatever. Again, these are games that are not necessarily GenCon releases. It's just games I don't own yet. Okay? So this is Garden Bow. I saw this over on the Dice Tower. It looked really interesting. The theme of the nature theme, like plant, nature type theme games are exploding. They're like all the rage. So let me click on this to give you a better look at it. So this is just a kind of a plant, another gorgeous plant-based board game. Rebecca loves these, so I'm interested in it, but it looks gorgeous. That's the board and the cards and all the tiles and stuff. It looks amazing. It looks beautiful. Rebecca loves the nature-themed games 1 and 2. If they have amazing art, that's a bonus as well. So that one looks really cool. I want to try that one out. Looks cool. All right, let me get rid of this one so I don't keep clicking on it. Planet Unknown. This one I've seen this one played, demoed. It's a Polyamino space themed game. It's let me see if I can find a good picture of what you're looking at. Here's a good one here. So yeah, it's this, you draft these tiles, you're building out your little planet. You have these tracks you're going up, I guess, maybe it looks like, and it looks like the tiles kind of stack on each other and you get some kind of 3D thing going, I guess. It looked really cool. They actually had this in the hot games area at the Dice Tower, but I didn't get a chance to play it. Rebecca saw it and was like really super interested because she likes space theme. She likes Polyamino games. So it looks like a winner in our book. Okay. Moving on to one that's just kind of a shot in the dark. The Guild of Merchant Explorers. This one's already out. It looks like it's released in June, but I haven't seen it. Alderac Entertainment Group, AEG, usually does some pretty solid games. So that kind of is a good starting point for me. And it's got exploration and looks like maybe some area control or something going on. It looks really, really interesting to me how the area, how it works. I don't know. It looks really interesting to me. This is from the maker. The designers are the ones that have done Elysium and Chocolate Factory, which are 2 games that are really, really solid. So it's got some good designers on it. So it looks interesting to me. It looks like you have your own boards. Maybe it's just weird that there's different colors. I don't know. It's interesting to me. I don't know. I want to try it out. I'm not going to just jump in and buy it, but I definitely want to demo it and see what it's about. Move back to the board. Let's see if there's any questions. All right. So we got Eternal Palace. It's another, this one's been out a while. It says it's March release. I haven't had a chance to see it or look at it, but it looks really interesting to me. It's another gorgeous Euro game. It has dice placement. This looks another gorgeous looking game. This is from the designer of Gugong, if you know of that game. I don't know what's going on with this painting thing, and I don't know what's going on, but it looks amazing. Gorgeous game, dice placement. I love dice placement games. Looks really nice. If I can find this in a different view. The board. Yeah, I don't know what these. You have any little canvases? Maybe you're doing pictures. I don't know. It just looks interesting to me. It has all these canvases back here in the back. I don't know what's going on. It looks great. It looks gorgeous too. It's always a bonus when a Euro game looks good. All right, let's move on. Terracotta Army. I've already talked about this. I already played it. And this is going to be the game I'm going directly to buy when I get to the convention. at first blush, it's my favorite tea game. It looks really, the board presence is just really cool. It has these little terracotta figures that you're building. This is a community board that you're building building these statues in. If you look, the bases are player colors. Some of them are player color. Other ones are kind of neutral statues that influence different areas, and you get victory points based on groupings of statues and proximity to different things. And it's a really, really gorgeous looking game. It's amazing that it's only $70, and it comes. Let's see if I can. It comes with all these miniatures, just tons and tons. Let's see if I can find a picture that shows all the miniatures that comes with it. No, there's not a good one, unfortunately. There's not very many pictures of this game. It's got a really interesting action selection system. It's got this three-layered little board here that you can actually rotate. It has arrows the way they rotate, and when you select an action, you get all the actions in a column. So you put your worker down and you get all the actions. And you can get grande workers. If you ever played Viticulture, it has grande workers. So you can upgrade one of your workers into a grande worker, let you go to a spot that someone already's been at, which is really cool. So it's got some interesting mechanisms. Maybe this one shows more of the miniatures. Well, anyway, if you look at this, I don't know if you can see it, this box here, it looks like just a box with some lines on it. Those are actually upside down miniatures. There's like, I don't know what, maybe 60 miniatures that are in this little holder. And they go in, you put them in upside down, and the base sets flat. So you actually pull the miniatures out of this storage thing. And also it tells you how many victory points you get for building them along the side. So it's really cool. Really, really cool game. It's a T game. It's in the T series from Board and Dice. So it's a heavy, heavy Euro game. Let's move back. Like I said, the plant theme is very popular. And here's yet another gorgeous looking plant game. It's already out, but again, another one I haven't played before or seen. I haven't even seen this game before. But it looks really, I mean, this is probably Kickstarter components, but it's got cool little bits and plants, and it looks like you're building out a little garden. Looks really nice. It reminds me a lot of Herbaceous, but looks a lot more going on, obviously, than what's in Herbaceous, but has that kind of art and feel to it. So let's see. Let me check in the chat, make sure I didn't miss anything. I skipped Dog Lovers. Yeah, no. I already played Dog Lovers. It wasn't all that. Not my kind of game. I mean, it's a great game, but it's not my kind of game. All right, let's go back to the list. Give me that. If you watched our Dice Tower recap, you know this was one of the hits of the convention for Rebecca. It's just a goofy little party game where you are writing down a sequence of numbers, which doesn't sound like that much fun. Let's see if I can see if there's any good pictures. Of course, there's no pictures. So you basically, each person is going to have a pad of paper in front of, not a pad, a piece of paper in front of them with boxes numbered 1 to 100. And you basically take a pencil. One person, there's only one pencil in the game. You take that pencil and you write down the numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're just writing those. Meanwhile, everyone else is rolling a die and taking turns rolling a die and doing whatever the die says. It's goofy stuff, like you do high fives, and it's Happy Salmon-esque. But if you whoever rolls the pencil, you grab the pencil away from whoever's writing and say, give me that, and you start writing your numbers down, your series of numbers. And there's one that passes the numbers or the pages of numbers around. It's just chaos. And whoever finishes a pad of paper and writes the 100 down wins the game. So it's crazy. No, Nathan, you're totally right. It is not for someone who doesn't like stress. It is a crazy, active, interactive party game. And Rebecca completely loved it. So I have to get this game for her, or I won't be allowed back from Indiana if I don't get this game for her. She loved it that much. All right, Twilight Inscription. So there's actually a roll and write on my list. Isn't that crazy? So what I'm finding is I like the really advanced roll and write. So I like Hadrian's Wall. I like, what was the other? The Imperial Settlers Roll and Write. I like the ones that have some meat to them. And I don't like the ones that are just kind of crazy random. You roll the dice and you like mark off a couple of boxes. I like the resource management and some decision making and things like that. And this looks like a really beefy roll and write. If you look at the sheets, they are crazy complicated, which is fine by me. That's what I'm looking for in a roll and write. I don't know. I want to try it out and see how it plays, but it looks interesting. It looks like it has a space map. Maybe there's some exploration going on. I don't know. Looks interesting. The color choice, though, is a bit much. That is a bright piece of paper. So I don't know. It definitely stands out, that's for sure. So Twilight Imperium Roll and Write Twilight Inscription. So that looks interesting. So Nathan said FG still makes games. I don't even know. They must. I mean, yeah, I thought they were pretty much shutting down. But all right, let's move on. Fog of Love, an expansion, Love on Lockdown. So this is a COVID-19 themed relationship game. So if you've ever played Fog of Love, it's for 2 players only. They're basically 2 people that are in some kind of relationship with each other, and they have to make relationship decisions, and they have events that happen, and they have to deal with them. And you have your goals as a person, what you want in the relationship, how you want it to pan out, and things you want to achieve. And the other person has goals as well. Sometimes those goals work together, sometimes they conflict. We played all the expansions for Fog of Love. This is a new one that we're gonna get. I'm gonna try to get it, and it looks like it's already out June. It's already out, but I want to grab this. I'm curious how this is gonna work with the long distance. Maybe it's online. The mechanics as you're having Zoom calls, or I don't know. I'm interested in how they're gonna handle the pandemic situation. Oh, it looks like you're in a relationship at home and you just can't go out, so you're forced to spend time with each other. That's kind of funny. So, Fog of Love, Love on Lockdown. I don't think it has that many. It doesn't have any pictures or anything to show. It just has the box and the back of the box. Back of the box review, D-. It's all text. I don't know if that's the final back of the box, but anyway. That looks cute, and we've played all the other expansions, so it'd be good to get a new one. All right, let's move on to Stroganoff, and every time I hear that, I get a little hungry. So this is from Game Brewers, who makes really solid games. This is, let me check my notes here. It's looks like it's a Eurogame, a heavy Eurogame, and it looks gorgeous. Looks really interesting. Obviously, it looks like there's a lot going on. It's a heavy Eurogame. It's from the makers of Firenze and Hansa Teutonica, and a couple other heavy-ish Eurogames. Just looks really cool. It looks interesting. It looks like it has variable player powers. Let me check and see if that's what it is. It looks like you have a little player board that looks different than the other players. Doesn't say that. Let's see what else we got. We got worker placement, action points. Oh, it's a worker placement game. I love worker placement games. It looks like a heavy Euro with a lot going on, which I love those kind of games. Don't know much other than that. I want to demo it and try it out. It looks cool. So, yeah. Anyway, Stroganoff and Rebecca. When I told Rebecca the name, she said she was getting hungry too. That's all I know about Stroganoff is beef Stroganoff. So, anyway, let's move on to. Oh, we're halfway. So let me pop out. Since I'm not really looking at you guys, let's pop out the camera for a second. All right, so. GenCon. I've never been. I'm I've heard, and again, I'm a GenCon noob. I heard there's amazing places to eat. I heard there's awesome food trucks. So I'm looking to do the full experience. I've never actually even been to Indiana in terms of staying. I've driven through Indiana, but I've never been to Indiana. So not only am I going to do Gen Con and do all the fun stuff there and do all the foods and all the stuff around it, I also want to see if there's anything cool to do in the area because I've never been. So I may take a break from the convention and go out and do some Indianapolis stuff. I don't know what that is. So I have a rental car so I can drive where I need to go. So I may do that as well. So this weekend is Gen Con planning. I'm going to kind of plan out, not schedule everything, but kind of plan out. I want to go try to do this or that. I'm excited. I'm super excited. I got my badge. I got my little badge. Got my badge in the mail. Very excited. And I got my tickets for the Dice Tower show and the Splendor tournament. So I'm very excited about that too. So let's see if we got any questions. They're laughing. She's laughing about Stroganoff, I guess. So yeah, I don't know anything about it. I haven't really done a lot of research on what's there to do and not to do. I heard that it's parts of it are super crowded and parts of it aren't so crowded. So hopefully there's some places that I can find for quiet. I actually got a hotel kind of far away from the convention center because I was kind of late to the game. Apparently the hotels around the convention sell out like before the convention even goes on sale. So it's kind of weird. It's everything within, 10 miles of the convention center was either sold out or had prices that were ridiculous, like $500 to $700 a night. So I got a hotel kind of far away. Far away, I mean 15 minutes away, which isn't that bad. So I'm excited, super excited about it, if you haven't figured that out. But let's jump back in. Let's jump back into the listo. All right. So next up is Cellulose. So this is from Genius Games. This is from the makers of Genotype and Periodic, and they've done one other game. But this looks interesting, and it's a science-themed board game. It's kind of got area control, which makes kind of sense for having to do with cells, I guess. I don't know, but if you look at the board, it's another gorgeous production. Got all of it. It just looks really cool. I'm a science nerd. I was originally a chemistry major in college before I realized that's not what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, and I switched over to accounting. So science, I love science. Biology wasn't ever my strong point, but I still loved biology when I was in school. Looks really interesting. I have no idea what's going on with this board, but it looks cool. I guess I don't even want to hazard a guess of how this board works, but it looks interesting to me. And they do a good job of taking science and making it into a board game. A lot of science board games are not fun or interesting. They're more like a full-blown like textbook kind of experience rather than a board game experience. So looking forward to trying this one out. It looks interesting to me. All right. Okay, let's move on. So it's few questions. Nathan wants a top 5. I'll give you a top 5 at the end, a 5 on the spot of my 5 most anticipated games. We did play Hippocrates. We'll talk about it next time we do a variety show, but kind of the initial impressions. We talked about it. We already talked about it. Yeah, I thought we talked about it. Maybe we did. I don't know. Anyway, initial impressions were it's a really good game. It has really solid mechanisms, but there's no growth. You don't have any kind of arc to the game. In round 1, you're basically doing the same thing you are doing in round 4, which is the end of the game. There's not any kind of build up where you get tons of more resources or special powers or anything like that. It's kind of a flat gameplay, which is fine. Some people actually kind of like where it feels like you know what you're doing every round and it's not changing and growing as you go along. So, but otherwise, it's a good game. I think I gave it an 8.5. I think something like that. It's really solid, but I like games where you really feel like you're doing more at the end than you were at the beginning. Okay. So next one up is Fire and Stone. Let's see if I got any notes on Fire and Stone. It's from you'll recognize the name. It's the designer of Carcassonne. So it is a Eurogame. It reminds me a lot. It looks like, gives me kind of the same feel as Stone Age in a way, because it's worker placement, prehistoric, but it looks very different. If you look at the board, it's kind of a map of the world, or I guess the Eastern Hemisphere, I guess. I don't know. No, it's all world. Just kind of a different view. Africa and Europe on the left, and the Americas on the right. But yeah, it looks like some kind of maybe exploration, worker placement, area control, maybe. I don't know. You're putting little huts out. I don't know how they interact with each other. Moving across the board, it looks like. It looks like it's kind of supposed to represent the expansion of peoples across the world over the land bridge into the Americas. Looks like the threes obviously are happening later on. So that's interesting to me. It kind of has a historic perspective of the expansion of people across the planet. So, yeah, really interesting. It looks really cool to me. This one really, really interested me, especially since it's a really well-known designer that made the game. So, looks really, really interesting to me. All right. Next up, Sky Mine. So this one is, if you don't know, a retheming of Mombasa. So Mombasa had a kind of colonizing of, I want to say Africa theme to it, where you're various trading companies and you're expanding out over Africa. This one rethemes it into a space theme. So you're space miners, I guess. You're going out and mining space. A planet, I guess. And one benefit of this game, if you don't know, Mombasa does not play very well with 2 players. It's completely not recommended to play 2 players. Apparently in this game, they've built in a automated player to take the place of the missing players to move the game along. I don't know how that works. Those are really hit and miss when you have those automated players that do random actions or set actions each round. Those are really hit and miss for us. So I'm kind of curious. I want to kind of demo this one before I buy it. But I love Mombasa. It's just not a game I can own because we play most of our games 2 players. And I literally, on the Board Game Geek cruise many years ago, I pulled the game off the shelf, read the rules, and as soon as I start reading the 2-player rules, I put it back on the shelf. That's how horrible the 2-player game was for Mombasa. So, but let me show you some pictures of this. There's not much. There's a back of the box showing the board, but it looks very similar. It has a similar feel to Mombasa. You have instead of Africa, you have a planet, and you're kind of have the different trading companies coming in from the 4 different sides, very similar to Mombasa. You have a player board. Looks a little bit different than Mombasa, but has the same feel. Have the same cards drafting things that you can do. Looks very similar. So I bet the rule set is very similar to Mombasa. I don't speak. Is that French? I don't know. Yeah, I think it's French. So I can't tell you what any of that says, but yeah, I'm excited for this one. Hopefully the 2-player will work well. I'll probably grab the rule book off the table if it's being demoed and scan for the 2-player rules and see how it looks for 2 players. But supposedly there's automated players. You can even play it solo since it has automated players. So, all right, let's see. That's it. All right, let's move on to the next one. Long Shot the Dice game. This has been out for a while. It came out in April. I just keep hearing more and more buzz about how much fun this game is. I like racing themed games. This one's a roll and write-ish kind of game. but it's got betting and bluffing and all sorts of fun stuff. It looks like a game I want to try out. It looks really fun. At first I was like, it's a roll and write. I immediately discounted it, but I keep hearing good things about it. So if you haven't seen it, I mean, it's everywhere. There's all kinds of buzz about it, but it's a little, see if I can find a good picture. Yeah, it's a little racing game. But you have these little pads of paper. I guess you're either betting or not betting. I don't know anything about it. Again, I immediately discounted it because I thought it was a generic roll and write, but looks like there's a little bit more going on than just a roll and write. So, Long Shot, the dice game. Move on to Brazil from Portal Games. This was demoed at the Dice Tower East. I did not get a chance to play. I did sit and watch several turns of the game being played. It's a 4X Euro game, which immediately, I need to know more about it. It looks really cool. It has some interesting mechanisms, but it is a 4X game, so you're going out exploring, explore, exploit, expand, exterminate. So I assume there is some kind of fighting or area control going on as well, but it has a really interesting way of harvesting resources and building buildings and stuff like that. Again, I only watched a couple of turns, but it looks really, really, really good. I'm really interested in this one. Let's see if 4X Euro game and I'm sold. So I haven't seen a real good 4X Euro game before. So Heroes in Land, Air, and Sea has some 4X mechanisms, but I don't consider it a Euro game, obviously. All right, let's check the chat, make sure I'm not missing anything. Rebecca's normally in charge of the chat, so let's see. All right, let's move on to the next one. Old London Bridge. So this one looks like Eurogame, the Eurogame, which I'm fine with. I like Euro games, and it looks like a pretty generic looking one. But one thing that caught my eye, and one reason it made this list, is because, at least it says in Board Game Geek, it says they use workers with different powers. And I love worker placement games that give you workers that do different things. Like this one worker is better at harvesting resources, and this other worker is better at exploring or whatever. I like, and you have a decision which workers you want to build or not build or use or not use. I like games like that. There's not a ton of games out there that do that, and every one that I've encountered, I've enjoyed. So it's selling me on that, if nothing else. I mean, it could be something minor in the game, but it does say over here on the side, it says worker placement, different worker types. So I saw that, and I'm like, all right, I'm in. And Queen makes some fairly good Euro games. This weight rating worries me. It's pretty low, but there's only 7 votes, so maybe who knows. But yeah, it looks interesting, and again, the worker placement with different workers is cool. All right, so Paul says 2-player isn't good. Yeah, if you look at the votes, there's not a lot of votes, but they're 50-50 on whether it's good for 2 players. But again, there's very few votes. Very few people have played this game. So I'll have to see. Anytime I sit down to demo a game or buy a game, I always check out the 2-player rules to see how they work. Let's scroll down. I don't know if you guys use Board Game Geek, but usually there's if you go down to the forums, it'll have stuff like, it's horrible with 2 players. I don't see any immediately saying that, but it's still early for that game. So let's move on to Dom Pierre. So this, I saw it. If you look at the cover, it looks like generic Eurogame, and it kind of is. But what got me is that was enough to get me to click on it, and then I clicked on it, and it looks just like viticulture. So if you look at the board, it just feels like viticulture. The cards look like viticulture cards. It just at first glance, I thought, is this a retheming of viticulture? But it's not. Apparently, it's very similar. It's about the champagne industry instead of the wine industry. So, I don't know. So I'm curious how it plays and what the differences are between it and viticulture. It says variable player powers, which viticulture doesn't have. It's worker placement. There's contracts. It just feels like viticulture of the game. See if I can see some more pictures of. How about this one? Yeah, it just seems. It even has the little card sets like viticulture. I don't know what these different workers. I guess these are your workers that you're recruiting. I don't know. It looks very much like viticulture. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this one. I want to see it. Let's check the chat. Let's see. I have not, if you're asking me, I have not played Fallout Shelter, the board game. Rebecca actually plays a Fallout Shelter app. So maybe at some point we'll try it out. She seems to enjoy the little app, the Fallout Shelter app. So, all right, let's move on. So the next one, this one's name only. I did zero research on it. The Great British Baking Show game. So my youngest daughter, Nessa, and my wife, Rebecca, absolutely love the British Baking Show. Like, they watch every episode. They've watched seasons multiple times. Even I'm like, you know who's going to win? They still watch it. They love the show. That alone is enough for me to check this game out. It's not getting a lot of buzz. It's only got 13 little thumbs when a lot of these other games have, I guess some of them don't have very as many, but some of them have over 100. I bet some of the bigger ones have hundreds of clicks. Let's see. Just kind of, no, none of them have hundreds, but still, it's only got 13 likes. I'll give it a thumb just to help it out. So this one caught me just that because I try to find games that Nessa will play, and this potentially is one. There's very little information on what it looks like. It has little guys, I don't know, and I don't know how good it is, but it looks like you're drafting little pieces for your cake. I don't know what's going on with it, but it looks cute, and I bet I can get Nessa to play it with me. So that's the reason I picked that one up. So, okay. Ryan says Fallout Shelter has workers with special powers, which I love. All right, Meadow downstream. So we love Meadow. Rebecca especially loves Meadow, and otters. That's all you need to know is there's otters. But it looks like it adds something to the game, more than just more cards. Let me see, where are the pictures? Click on the pictures. So it looks, where is it? This one. It looks like you got a little boat dude. There's a little river or something, and you got little guys going down the river. I don't know what's going on, but it looks cute. It says, I guess that's kayaker markers. Yeah, so you're going down the river, and it has little different river creatures, a little raccoon, some snail fish, a little bird. It just looks gorgeous, just like Meadow and otters. I don't think you need to go any further than that. Otters. So I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of checked out on expansions, but that one looks like a fun one. All right. Oh, so Corlew says in the Dice Tower Summer Spectre, they showed the river board, and it looked cool. So yeah, it looks fun. It looks great. Super excited about that game. Kind of one thing I noticed with expansions is it helps us get them off the shelf and play them again. So, and the last one this is kind of a personal thing. Northgard Uncharted Lands. Northgard is a video game. It's a 4X kind of Civ video game where you are a Viking clan and you're going out and expanding, just like in Civ. You have different troop types. You're taking over areas, you're harvesting resources, you're fighting barbarians and things like that. Video games made into board games are super hit and miss, like more miss than hit. So I'm curious about this one, but I'm very wary of this one. It's got a big price tag. It's got, I don't know. But if you look at it, I don't know how I feel about it when looking at it. If you look at the pictures, the board looks something out of the 80s, maybe. So the figures look like the old plastic figures that we used to have in the 80s, and the board looks very generic. This is not screaming Viking conquering to me. It's saying more like cartoon characters moving across the land. And it just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't give me the Northgard feeling where you're Vikings and you're conquering and pillaging and defeating other clans and stuff. This kind of feels like, I don't know. So we'll see. But I loved Northgard when I played it as a video game. I really enjoyed it. I love Civ video games, and it was a pretty good one. I didn't play it for super long because there wasn't much, I guess, content there like you have in Civ, where you have giant campaigns and stuff like that. But I enjoyed it. But this look is not really working for me. But we'll see. I'll give it a shot. So that is it. That is the 20 games. All right. So I promised that I would do a top 5 on the spot. Top 5 on the spot of most anticipated. So give me a second while I go down the list here. Let me see just first blush. That one. That one. That one. That one. So I've got 5. So now I got to put them in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. All right. So 5 on the spot. My top 5 most anticipated. Number 5 is Sky Mines, the retheming of Mombasa with the Mata 2-player variant, which will hopefully be better than the really bad 2-player that they had in Mombasa. Number 4 is Brazil Imperial. It's a 4X Eurogame. That immediately is screaming my kind of game because I like 4X games, and a Euro version of that would be really interesting to me. And again, I saw a couple rounds played at the Dice Tower East, and it looked really cool. Number 3 is Pierre. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. That one just looks like a viticulture variant, which Rebecca's favorite game of all time is viticulture. So any game that's close to the same feel as viticulture, she'll probably love. And I love viticulture too. It's one of my favorite games. It was my favorite game of all time at one point. So number 2 is Fire and Stone. This is a worker placement exploration game from the designer of Carcassonne. That one looks really cool to me. Just my kind of game. I like worker placement. Exploration games are really fun and interesting to me. And number 1, no surprise, Terracotta Army. I'm running to that booth as soon as I get to the convention to go purchase it. So there you go. So some people are putting their own, or Nathan is. It's a Wonderful Kingdom. We already have that. It's a great game. Core Quest, we're kind of out of the demographic for Core Quest. Ness is a little... we showed it to her and she didn't seem interested. She is getting more interested in the heavier games. Dune Imperium Rise of Ix, we already have that. It's unplayed. I think it's on our shelf of shame over there somewhere. Cartographers, Heroes, and Promos. Cartographers, Rebecca, I'm not sure if Rebecca's played Cartographers, but I haven't had a chance to play it. What else? Nobody else you got? What's number 1, Nathan? Waiting for it. Suspense. Corlu's got Maui. Is that Maui? I don't know. Gutenberg, which is cool. Parks, Wildlife. Maple Valley. That sounds... I didn't see Maple Valley. It must not be for sale. And Meadow Downstream, which is really cool. And Marvel United. Oh yeah, Marvel United. I'm not really on that train. So that's it. That is my Gen Con preview. I suspect I will not buy all 20 of these games. I suspect all 20 probably won't even be for sale. A lot of times they don't make it, even though they say they're going to be there. I suspect I'll buy maybe 8 or 9, 7, 8, 9 of these games, and probably some other ones that I didn't even know about that were there. Super excited about Gen Con. If you're there and you see me, please, 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 please come up and say hi. And if I got my nose down in a rule book, someone said that I had my nose down in a rule book when they came by, just get my attention. You're not going to bother me at all. To get my attention, just say hi. And since I'm flying solo, I'm looking for people to play games with if I actually have a chance to play games. I don't know how much open gaming there is at Gen Con, but I'll probably be doing lots of demos and stuff. So there you go. That's it for tonight, I think, folks. So 1 week from tonight, if I have time, I'll do my Gen Con recap of Gen Con. If I don't, that'll get pushed out a week. I suspect it won't get pushed out. I'll probably be able to get it together before the next Tuesday. So my Gen Con recap, we'll talk about things I did, games I bought, games I played, games I demoed, all that sorts of stuff. And Rebecca will be back beside me to react to all that, and she'll probably already have heard all my stories and tales and things like that of what happened. So if we don't do a recap of Gen Con, then we'll be doing a top 10. I think the top 10 that won in the poll was top 10 games of 2020 that we played this year so far. That would be any game that's new to us that we played this year. It's probably going to be dominated by 2022 games, but we did play some older games as well this year, some 2021 games and some older ones as well. That's it. That's it. That's it for me. That's a wrap, folks. See if there's any last minute questions. Catherine the Great games. I don't know anything about that. Let me write that down. Catherine the Great. I don't know anything about that one. Co-op viticulture. Rebecca, I mentioned this. She wasn't interested in the co-op viticulture, so I didn't dig much further than that. So Nathan's predicting I'm going to get 8 of the 20 plus 4 more, 12 games. That sounds reasonable. That sounds reasonable. It's a good over and under 8. 8's probably the right range of how many I'm going to end up buying. All right. Oh, Catherine the Great. Is that the Catherine the Great? Yeah, I have to look that up. I don't know anything about that. All right, folks, I'm going to get out of here. We'll see you in 1 week. Rebecca will be back. We'll talk about Gen Con. It'll be fun times. Bye.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Click subscribe to join our wonderful viewer community.
Want to be notified when we upload a new video or go live? Click on the little bell below.